The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome. Oh my gosh, what an episode we have for you today. I'm so excited. In the room with me in London, Arizona. I don't know why I wanted to say London, Arizona. In London.
Yeah, because there's Paris, Texas.
In London, England. I almost forgot where London was. I'm not even joking you.
I think the London Bridge might be in Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
pointed to a bridge today.
100% correct. The London Bridge
Thank you, Brian Frangie.
from the 1800s is located in Lake Havasu, which is a lake on the border of
they
Arizona.
shipped it there?
Oh.
In the 1800s, the London Bridge was being rebuilt, and they auctioned it off to a rich billionaire who lived in Lake Havasu, and he brought it piece by piece, and it was rebuilt in the 1960s in Lake Havasu. So if you go to Arizona, you can drive there in about 5 hours from LA. You can walk across the actual London Bridge from 1800s time.
Oh my God.
Pretty amazing,
Did you
right?
just do that off the top
That he
of the
knows all
dome?
that, or
Yeah.
that you knew that too?
No, that Brian knows all
Yeah,
that
and little
stuff.
Encyclopedia Brown
Wow.
over there. That was so impressive. Brian Frangie's here. He's
That's
in
right,
Los
everybody.
Angeles.
Thank you.
And then I'm in London with Anya Marina and Chris Convey, and then Noah is in Arizona. And we got to London today. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to speak like this more because if I speak sultrier, it protects my voice. And that's what my voice teacher taught me yesterday, is that I just need to lean into being more sultry.
It's not going to protect this relationship.
Yeah, it won't. I mean, the guys are going to be throwing their dicks at my head
don't.
when I walk down the street talking like this. Excuse me, sir. Where's the pret-a-manger? Oh, wait, on every single block here?
What?
There's a pret-a-manger everywhere
Wow.
here. Do you love them, Brian?
No, in fact, I have a bad memory with a pret-a-manger because they sell these sandwiches and they have all their sandwiches are on like a long piece of French bread. And I remember one time I was taking a class at UCB and I would bring a long pret-a-manger sandwich
And you would eat it throughout the whole class,
I mean,
bite by bite, like
Okay,
the cookie,
sort of.
Game of Thrones cookie.
sort of. But what I didn't realize is that secretly the rest of the class was judging me because about 5 weeks into the class, I was eating it and then somebody, and I said, "Oh, is it bothering anybody that I'm eating this sandwich?" And they said, "No, but I just think it's funny that you're eating an entire loaf of bread every week." And then everybody laughed like they'd all been talking about it.
They were
And
like, zip, zap, yes. It's very annoying.
And then
Yeah.
they had an intervention and said you had BO.
Oh my
Yeah, it was-
God, yes, we were just talking about this.
the BO intervention. But no,
I do
really
like
felt
the
like they were
asking
talking about
after
me.
the fact. Like it dawned on you after doing this 8 weeks in a row. Maybe I should check in and
But
see
it wasn't
if
the
this
fact
bothers
that I was
anyone.
eating the
inkling.
sandwich. It was they thought I was weird for eating an entire French bread. But that's just the way the sandwiches are sold. It's not my fault.
Well, we were just talking about that yesterday's like French people will just get a loaf of bread and eat that loaf of bread on the walk home.
Yeah, with like nothing on it because that's how good
The bread
is. There.
And Americans will get a loaf of bread and cry themselves to sleep in shame because they had a
Yes.
couple of bites.
Yes. I mean, Martha Stewart just said that she stopped eating bread to prepare for her Sports Illustrated cover.
Oh, what's your take on
And
that?
that's one.
Ooh, don't
Ready?
Even get us
Don't
started.
even get me started on this.
And go.
It's
Bread.
not empowering at all. This is why they do 4 covers now, so they can like kind of tokenize the covers. And like, we'll give one to an old woman. We'll give one to someone who never would have a chance. This is a catalog that is for horny men to look at and masturbate to, and for women to look at and throw up to, or what, like, push them towards their eating disorders. We know what this is. Stop trying to change what it is. It's supposed to make you feel bad about yourself as a woman. It's supposed to make you think, I can never be that. And they're trying to be like, we're inclusive. Meanwhile, Anya's point yesterday was, it's still not inclusive. Even 81-year-old Martha Stewart is not giving 81-year-old women don't stand a fucking chance. Sports Illustrated hates old women.
She's had, come on, multiple surgeries to look that fantastic. She looks fantastic. She looks like
She looks great.
a 37-year-old woman.
Hey, easy. Take offense to that.
I mean, that shit is tight.
Yeah, she looks great, but this is not something. She said she stopped eating bread and she started going to Pilates every other day. And I'm sure she did do those things, but that's not the whole story. And it's not a story of like empowering. This is telling women, if you get surgery and fight aging and do all of these things, then maybe we'll consider you for the cover. But it's pandering to me. Oh my
Yes.
God, there's a woman naked across
Where?
the way.
Where?
Get
Where?
bra.
Oh yeah, she doesn't know we can see her.
Oh, she does.
She
She
She's
does.
into it.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, she totally does.
It's
yeah.
Martha Stewart. Oh,
No.
Yeah, I mean, she
Look at
kind of
us.
looks her age.
she's European.
She's like, oh God, they're podcasting over there. That's heinous. Why don't you close a window?
Yes,
So
way more
awful to look at.
embarrassing than being seen naked.
3 jackals with a microphone just like glaring out the window with their tongues out.
Yeah. So, I mean, any other takes that we have on the Martha Stewart thing?
Well, the thing that bothers me is, I mean, at some point, you know, an aging woman does get to be like, I'm just like, I have wrinkles. I'm like, I don't need to try to be hot.
Right.
And I think Martha Stewart has kicked this can down the road. And now
We can never give
Now-
up.
75-year-old women are like, now I gotta chase Martha Stewart down.
I just I can't wait to ease into turtlenecks.
Right. Yes.
I've
Yeah, like,
uncovered something new. Yeah.
Isn't there a time where people should just be able to like give in to their aging?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And but you're never off the clock now. You are always on guard for like, you could be hot. There could be something you could do.
Right.
You're never allowed to just be. And yeah, so it for me, I was just kind of rolling my eyes when I saw it. It was not like, yes, it's so cool they put an older woman on there. If you fell for that, good for you. You're falling for this is old men trying to figure out how to make money
Because it's
off of you.
It's surgery.
And get press.
So she's had surgery, obviously, like face stuff. Then she like incredible lighting, I'm sure, on that shoot, and then airbrush retouch.
Oh yeah, there's not a single crease on her chest. There's not anything
And
on her
she can
neck.
afford private chefs.
Right, yes.
Pilates
That's what I was
instructors,
thinking.
All of the upkeep.
It's not ideal
Fillers,
for regular
Botox.
81-year-olds.
No, but I will say that every time Camille Kostick is on Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, it makes me feel great because she is a full-figured gal that makes me feel like really good and doesn't seem to be trying to be anything other than herself. And she's someone who I follow, and it gives me great self-esteem because she's like the hottest girl going. And look, Chris is looking her up now. Yeah, you're going to like this. You're going to like what you see.
Padma is also in Sports Illustrated.
Oh, Padma looks great.
Her ass.
Padma is, you know,
There you go.
I mean, so is Camille, but Padma is otherworldly. She's just so, you know, she's a supermodel. It just doesn't, you know, they're aliens. We're not supposed to be able to look at like them. But don't
Wait,
you like
is that Gronkowski's?
Gronkowski? Camille
okay.
Kostick is
Yeah, yeah,
Gronkowski's
yeah.
gal, and
Oh.
she's like
Let me
a
see.
acquaintance of mine. We're friendly.
Who is this person?
Camille
Blonde?
Kostick. Now click on that. This is what I'm talking about. This makes me feel good.
I don't know this.
Put it
who
up
is
to the
she?
camera.
She's been on you.
Is she a model or does she do anything else? She's just a
Oh
beautiful
yeah, Camille
person.
Costick.
She's very sweet.
Yeah.
Also.
She's really nice.
I'm
and
the only person that doesn't know.
Well,
who
we
this
had her
No, I
is.
on
didn't know
You
who
Up.
she was.
That's how I know about her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we did a dance to Taylor Swift one time together with Andrew at
Oh
the stand.
yes,
Yeah,
okay. I remember.
yeah,
Oh, I
she's
saw a
awesome.
video of that.
Yes.
That was the thing.
Yes.
It was
And
a
I like
video.
Rob
awesome.
Gronkowski.
Yeah, do you?
I like retired Rob Gronkowski. I hated him when he played because he always defeated my teams, but I like him. I like his persona post NFL, the goofy,
He's good
lovable.
on things.
Yeah,
He's in on the joke.
yeah.
He seems cool. I like their relationship.
Can we hit the sports talk bumper really quick, Noah? Guys, I just want to hear these two. I do love it when you guys have a brief.
He does the
What did I hear?
USAA commercials where he tries to get the insurance from the military, and they say you can't because you've never been in the military. And he goes, "Oh man," and he's in.
Oh,
You know,
jeez.
Jesus.
Wow, you guys witness other ads than I do.
Yes.
The Michelin Man or whatever the hell it was last night. The Mitchum Man.
Mitchum.
I totally
Man.
missed that. We're in London. Even today when we were, I think we were in Vienna and we were headed to the airport, and there was like a ref whistle. Like you could hear it on the radio. Our driver was listening to it. And I almost asked Chris, we were in the middle of a conversation, so I didn't, but I wanted to be like, did your mouth start watering? Just like there's whistles going off and there's some sports somewhere.
I do miss watching stuff because I couldn't watch any of the NBA playoff games because we couldn't get them over here, and we weren't going to like a bar or anything. So yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of like
we went to a bar.
Did we?
Yeah, in my hotel, our hotel. Remember?
No.
We came back from the show. And no, we came back. I don't know where we came back from. And no, I ordered you fries and we were waiting for Uber Eats. Remember? And then the guy, we tried to find him and then you got the fries. Then we got in the elevator and I was like, oh, that woman singing in the lounge was pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved this was, I remember that.
Okay, so in our hotel in Berlin, there was like a lounge. And on Saturday night, there was like this woman who was like, it was honestly like Anya in 10 years, if she wanted to be. It was like this cool woman,
so
blonde
scared.
woman, playing electric guitar, but like really jazzy, cool, like beautiful guitar.
And the guitar
Great
sound was great. And we
voice.
were listening for like 10 minutes in the hotel lobby. We couldn't see her. She was in like this bar area.
Yeah, we just kind of heard someone
like, man,
singing. We're
cool,
like, that's
just
good.
cool songs.
Mm-hmm. And then we walked by because we had to walk by the bar to get to the Uber Eats because he went around the corner. And I walked by and I go, oh my God, like that's what I want to do. I want to play like guitar in a bar, like by myself with no band, no one to judge, just voice, guitar, love it. And then we were getting back in the elevator and I was like, man, that's what I love that woman. I just want to do that. And Chris is like, you want to go back down and watch? And I was like, yeah. And so we went in to eat his fries and we sat down.
And Nikki's like, this is what I want to be doing. Like, this is the life I want to be leading.
Cool.
Like,
and it was just, she was playing all over the neck. Like she was doing things that I could never do. And that I don't really aspire to be like doing, you know, I don't know what it's called. Noodling. I just kind of like strumming.
That word is too
It's actually
dismissive.
called
I'm sure
shredding.
guitarists are listening.
It's shredding.
She was not, but she
the
wasn't.
music
like,
you listen to is called that.
She was like gently ripping, instead of shredding. Like, you know, like it was just gentle. It was just so jazzy and
killing
smooth.
it.
Yeah,
You could just tell she was like very elite, trained. Yes, and she just was
laid
cool. And then
So like
she
older
plays one
woman
song
alone, no
she's
band.
probably like 55.
Yeah, she was like mid to late 50s. She just seemed cool.
Pretty.
What
She
was
was
she
working
wearing?
for
We
the
sit down.
hotel where she like hired to be
Yeah.
there.
So she was hired by the hotel. She was right when you walk in, and we sit down and we're like, "Oh, this is gonna be great! Like we could do this for a long time."
Yeah, just
And
sitting and having a drink, and
she's like playing cool. She played it. She's playing a cool song.
they brought us some nuts. I was fishing out the ones that like were green that have like the coating around the nut because I don't really like peanuts, so I was eating the coating. You know, those like Asian nuts.
But then she put everything that was in her hand back in there, and I suspect that they brought that to another table.
That's on them.
I don't have evidence of it, but I remember when it was happening.
I
was like,
didn't want the peanuts, but I didn't want him because the waiter already hated me, and so I didn't want him to hate me more with a little pile of peanuts. So I just go, I'm throwing them back in.
Yeah, that guy sucked.
Yeah, he didn't like us.
So we sit down and we're like, this woman's amazing. This is so exciting. Like this is Nikki's future in front of us. We're like, this is awesome, and we're sort of like dreaming about this woman's life in a way. But then the song ends and she goes, I'm going on a break.
I'm like, oh God, damn it. And then
because we don't want to wait like 30 minutes or 15 minutes.
we had just gotten there. It's the end of the night. We were already ready to go to bed. So we go, okay, we'll pack up and go.
So she goes to the bar and gets a drink and then walks
Not
out.
just a drink. It's a tower of terror. It was a tower of beer, like a giant beer. And I even commented like, wow, she's a German woman. Like she was just treating herself, you know? And I was like, oh, this is like the life.
Yes. It was like
she's gonna like treat herself to this delicious beer. She's worked hard and now she's gonna come back from break and be a little bit looser. And like, she just owns this place. It was so cool.
So then we had to settle up because we decided to leave. So we settled up. It took us like a few minutes and we leave the bar and we walk into the lobby area and we see her humongous beer on the table.
Yeah. And I go, oh my God, she's right there. And then we pass by and she looks despondent. I mean, she looks like she's
She's
this
like
is what
laid back,
is
dude. Like,
laid back and her head is like this.
And she's got her hand on her head, like,
Oh my
what
God.
what has become
Like
of my
fainting
life?
almost.
What am I doing
What
with
is my life?
Like,
I hate my life.
This is the worst existence.
This is like the opening of White Lotus Berlin.
Yes. And it totally was, but it was so funny to us because I had just romanticized her so much and she was just miserable. And then I go, oh my God, that's what so many people think of my life as that. And then I'm like, ugh. And it was just, you can't win ever.
Grass is always greener on the other
Scoot
side
over
of
a little
the
bit.
pint
I
of
know you
beer.
don't want to. There you go. We need to see that beautiful mug. Yeah. So it was really cool to see. And then it was also cool to just see, like, I just was like, God, if I could play guitar like that, I would never be sad again. You ever say that to yourself about
Yes,
things?
of course.
Like, what's your thing?
If I could play piano like that, if I could speak French like that, if I could earn money like that.
Yeah.
But I don't believe
Yes.
any of those things will make me never sad again or happy. I mean, if I could, I have a lot of goals. I have my 40 under 40, and one of them is playing piano for
Oh my
30
God.
minutes. For 30 minutes in front of strangers without being asked and have them not be annoyed. That's one of my
But
goals.
you won't know until the 4th improv class when they finally tell you. So we
but none of this-
we do want to get to this. So 40 under 40, Brian. This is your
Yes.
40 things you want to do before you turn 40. How old
Yes.
are you now?
35. So I got 5
Okay,
years.
so you have 5
Plenty of
years. Can
time.
we hear some of the things you've already accomplished from this list? Because
Sure,
they do run
sure.
the gamut of very simple to like bake a cake to
Yes.
impossible ones.
I
like,
recommend everybody do it because what it does is when you turn a milestone age or any age, you turn that age and then a lot of times you get really sad. But if you look back at all the things you did, you can say, well, I did all the things I said I was going to do. I lived my life correctly, exactly how I planned it. As long as
Right.
you do all the goals, which you might fail them all, and then you'd be really
You gotta do
sad.
the goals. So what are some of them?
Well, I could pull it up. I have my list right here.
Glaze, you should think about yours, and Anya. Everybody should think about what theirs
Yeah.
should have been.
right,
Or
because
are.
we have
My-
2 people past 40
I'm
here.
42, I think. What?
Yeah, I think
3.
you are.
Well, you do
think you're
45 under
42.
45, and then you do 50 under 50.
Okay.
The
there
amount-
you
the
go.
amount of
you
goals
have to
keeps
do
going
more.
up. Yeah.
Oh, right. Damn
It
it.
gets hard, yeah.
Okay, so let's hear some of yours, Brian.
I break it down into categories. I have career, hobby, travel, baking. I don't know why that's a whole category. And life.
Well, let's go to life. I would
yeah.
like to pick life for 500, Alex.
Okay, life for 500. One of them that I've did in 2021 is ride a horse.
Oh, yeah.
You had never ridden a horse?
I don't know, not recently, not that I remember. So I wanted to
I just
ride a
wanted to
horse.
do it again.
Yeah, so I rode a horse. I did it, and man, do I feel happy. Then,
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yeah, when I was like a kid. And yeah.
It is a majestic animal. And
Yeah.
what did it feel like to, and first of all, why did that go on your list? Second of all, how did you feel after? Did you feel like you thought you would feel?
Yeah, why did the horse go on your list? When you were making this list, did you just see a horse on TV and go, I should add that? I'm at
Yeah,
39.
so-
I don't know what else to put on here.
yeah, I saw the horse and I said, that would be nice to ride that thing. I didn't feel
That's different than what I imagined. He's like perving on a horse. That's a good looking animal. I wanna
No,
ride that.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant by ride.
Wait, so why did you want to ride a horse?
I just felt like, honestly, it was one of those things that I felt like if I was a guy who had ridden a horse before, I'd be all right. Like I felt
It's
like
one of the
Right.
things that it's going to solve my problems in my
Yeah.
life. Okay, we're going to hear more about this list when we get back from the break because there's 39 things to get to, and we'll get to at least 3 more. And we'll also share our goals as well, which I just read, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and a big part of that is just never making goals. So this refutes everything I just spent a lot of time learning. So we'll talk about all that when we get back live from London on the Nikki Glaser Podcast. All right, we're back. Brian just revealed that he's doing a 40 under 40 things he wants to accomplish before he turns 40. He's 35 now. He could be president. That's the last accomplishment you can have in your
That's
life.
the last milestone for age. Like
Yeah, before,
voting
like-
is at 21. And then-
retirement.
yeah, rental car. Yes,
65.
retirement. Also, your voice stops maturing at 35. Up until
Oh.
then, Your
Oh,
voice
God.
matures. Maybe that has to do with the president thing. They're like, we don't want someone like squeaking up there.
But you can always make your voice more mature.
Yes, I'm trying to because I've been having vocal strain recently and I spent a lot of money on fixing it.
It's
in
changing
September.
the tone of this podcast.
I know. Everyone's kind of like
Direction
more
that-
chilled out.
All three of
okay,
you
Brian.
sound more chill. I mean, I don't know why.
Chris is giving
I
me
remained brassy for the
amazing-
first few minutes, and then I was like, I need to take it down a notch.
No, Chris is giving me major ASMR.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you have
Yeah.
like a very soothing voice.
They're gonna
Chris's
bone
voice
when
is,
I like it.
is double soothing today. It's not.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
double
Double?
soothing. Double.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
normally it's soothing, but today
Now it's double.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Anya's
wait,
voice
what other?
is the same.
Yeah, please
I
tell
think.
me.
Anya's voice is the same. You're the only one that's not putting on a soothing tone. You're the same as always.
Listen, this is my path. This is my journey. I don't want anyone to adjust.
I'm
I
freaking
need everyone to remain calm. I'll go back to the way it was before, but having to do. I'm not used to talking all day.
I thought
on the
Michael
road.
taught us like to be up here, like hi.
No, it's supposed to be relaxed. You're supposed to be open, nothing, relaxed. So this is what is the least amount of nothing in my throat is happening. The air is just being pushed out. It's like a slide. You know, the slide doesn't have to do any work for
Why
you
is
to
your
fly
mouth
down
That's
it.
what he told us to do.
You go, ugh. The way to relax mostly to get your best voice to sound good is to do what I've found. Cause he was like, just go like this, talk like this. And I was like, he was like, what does that look like? And I go, a stroke victim. And he started laughing. I go, what else am I supposed to say? That's exactly what it looks like.
Oh,
but
I have a question for you.
What?
I'm sorry. I just thought because you talked about your tongue or something.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of you on your Instagram where you had a bunch of pills from like a pharmacy,
In Ibiza.
and one of them was magnesium.
Yeah.
Why are you taking that?
Because old glazed dog was stopped up. I looked about 6 months pregnant. And I even showed Chris, I had a towel around it because he couldn't see my bare stomach. But I go, babe, look. And I stuck out my stomach and I go, we could give an announcement right now and no one would question it. No one. It would be, I could go to
I
a
would.
clinic and go abort this and they'd go, it's too late. Even my laugh is like,
Wait, so
but
you've
yeah,
taken magnesium
is
before?
supposed to, no, but it's supposed to help you be regular.
Yeah,
Oh,
it works
really?
if you're ever
Constipated.
constipated.
Yeah.
I want to be special, not
Yes,
regular.
yes.
I want my boobs to be special.
boy.
Chris does not like potty talk, so we're going to move back on to.
Okay.
Wait, what I was going to say about my voice. So he was telling me to sing the best to make it so. Because the best sound is like when you're like totally relaxed. And I couldn't do it. I was just like, I can't do this. Because he was going like, do it like this, sound like this. And I was going like,
Hey, guys.
and then I realized it's when I'm doing a dumb guy voice. When I'm like, oh, really? You think Django's hot? And so whenever I'm singing and I feel tension, I always go to, like, I'm imitating a dumb guy.
It's
and then
like
I start to sound
about
really good.
to barf, right? Like about to barf. That's the yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
hot.
So that's how I'm gonna sound like Adele someday. So what were we talking
Riding
about?
a
Can I
horse.
just
Oh
say
yeah.
that
Mine's
I-
40
well,
under 40.
This is crazy coincidence. 2 days ago, I took magnesium for the first time ever. I didn't see your Instagram
oh
thing.
my God.
Allie saw it and she told me, Nikki's got magnesium. And I said, what are you talking about? I have
Why?
magnesium.
Did you take magnesium?
I took magnesium because it's supposed to help you sleep. It's supposed to relax you before bed, help you
That's why
sleep.
you take it at night.
It's supposed
Stop
to
you from
help you
clenching.
shit in your sleep.
Yes.
I was trying to take care of both of those.
It relaxes all your muscles.
Take
Did
it
it
made,
work?
No, it made me jittery. It made me jittery and
Oh.
anxious because
Do you do melatonin
no, I haven't done melatonin. No,
ever?
never.
Put that on the list, bitch.
Well, that's where you start, Brian. Don't start at magnesium. Melatonin actually works. And I know there are listeners going, no, it makes you groggy. It doesn't work. It does work.
I
It's-
hate it. Fuck
I
melatonin.
love
Can't
it.
stand you, melatonin.
The
It
number
just-
one thing, Chris. Sorry, what was that?
It's so stupid because I was finally feeling fine. I had been sleeping fine for like the last 2 days, and then I was like, I said I was going to take the magnesium, so let me just take it, and then it messed me up. So it's like if you're feeling fine, don't take anything. Just let yourself be fine until you feel shitty again. You don't have to fix problems that aren't there. Do it all the time.
Right. I do that too. What is that? Where because it's not comfortable feeling good. We're not used to feeling good.
Right.
And
You can't believe you feel like you didn't do enough work to feel good, so you have to do some more work.
Yes.
It's perfectionism was what it is.
Well, Chris and I couldn't get to sleep last night. We were both doing the thing of like, I would think he was asleep. And I always play white noise. And so I wouldn't hear.
Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah. Coldplay. And
I like that.
Noah liked it.
I like that.
I was on my side of the bed. You know, the pillow wall was up. I couldn't really see what was happening over in East Berlin. And so
I'm West Berlin.
Okay. I don't know what it means. But I was like, and then it got to be pretty late and I go, oh my God, I saw his little phone glowing in the night and I was like, oh, he's starting a little fire over there. Like I could see that there was life and I was like, oh my God, why aren't we asleep? And we were just, cause we're both on our phones. And then I go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I heard in a stand-up bit because I love when stand-up like changes the way you operate. And Shang Wang has this bit that I only saw on a clip. Did you see this, Noah?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
You're nodding your head, so I thought, but you must know who Shang Wang is. He's a great comic, but he's got a special out, and he was talking about, he was like, you ever try to read a book? He was like, man, that shit makes you so tired. He's like, there's 20 milligrams of melatonin on every page. And I was like, there is never a time that I don't get sleepy when I read a book. Why am I trying to do anything else when I'm tired at night?
So
Just
true.
grab a fucking book.
Yeah.
Right? And I fell asleep. And so last night I go, I don't know what I'm doing, Chris. I'm reading a book. And I was out in 2 minutes.
Were you really?
Yes.
I was reading for like 3 hours.
No, you
so
weren't.
it doesn't always work.
Doesn't always work.
Chris is reading a book right now.
Oh, come now.
And I loved because it's on his Kindle, and I just like to look over when we're sitting next to each other on a
I've
plane.
actually changed the font to like being smaller, so it's harder for you to spot words.
Well, he reads like Game of Thrones books and Lord of Rings, and I just like to look over
Lord
because
of
there
Rings.
is never there's
sound
never
like
a
my mom.
page that seems normal. It's always like, and then Galadriel flew through the nightfall, and then the Crusaders cloaked themselves. There's always words like cloaked and
Sheath.
and sheath. Yes, and
Sword.
yes. I mean, do you have your
Masonry.
Kindle on hand?
Yeah, I've got
Will
it.
you go grab it? Because I just want to look at one page of
Absolutely
your
not.
Nightfall book.
No.
What are you reading? What's it called? So people who are interested.
The Trials of Ismerald.
No, it's not.
It's a
that.
classic.
No, I forget what it's called because it used to be 3 smaller, like, well, I forget what they call
Lord
it.
of the Rings, Fellowship of the
Three
Ring.
swords and a fire goblin.
I know what you mean. I never
it
know
was
the
like,
name
It was
of
like
books.
3 novellas that
Oh.
they combined to make one book.
But do you ever start laughing when you read a word because you can see me making fun of you? Because I'm trying to get you to start just laughing when you read it because it's so funny.
No, I'm not
the
going to do.
words.
I just angle further away from you.
I just like to make fun of your
It doesn't. It
things.
feels
that-
like I'm like looking at like other girls'
Porn,
Instagram. You're like, what are you doing there? And I'm like, nothing.
one time.
Reading about dunk and egg.
Well, the other day I couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing so hard because I looked over and there was like a picture with like a griffin and a woman in the wind that looked like Florence and the Machine, and it was just like it was the most. It was like it's just so cute to see your boyfriend read about like these like other worlds where like dragons exist, and it's just so cute. It's like when I call your F1 racing your vroom vrooms.
Yeah.
I just like to infantilize these things that I don't understand, and I'm jealous that I can't
I'm
really like,
jealous.
get into them. Yeah,
I'm dying to be swept up into a book. Take me out of this fucked up realm.
That's why I keep
no,
going back
the
to these
realm.
books. Like
realm is another word.
you say, oh yeah, so you're reading the same thing.
I wish. It's been so long since I'm like, I can't wait to get back to my book.
All you have to do is start one. All you have to do is just talk to a friend who you trust and say what book is going to really.
I did that. I read Colleen Hoover's thing. I got through 30 or 40 pages and I gave up. I'm just like, the phone has ruined my attention span. It's way more interesting on my phone than the book.
Yeah, like I'm
Right.
trying to get through the autobiography of Mark Twain, and I mean, every single time I'm like, I got to get back to that realm.
Yes, I bet.
Really? You're
Yeah.
excited?
There's no dragons in Mark Twain's life.
yeah,
I do love a non-fictional I love a memoir. Like I read Prince Harry's thing. That was the last thing I read.
Well, there you
Spare.
go. And that you were kept
That
swept
was
up
pretty
in
cool.
that, right?
It was pretty good.
you're
I mean,
It's
not-
a long book.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, you wouldn't have gotten
oh
through it.
wait, that doesn't count. That was an audiobook.
If you don't want to go back to reading the book, if you're not itching to go read it, then just
Let it
stop reading it.
go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
People have this weird thing about they gotta finish anything they
finish.
start, and I
I
think that
know.
discourages reading because
It's the same with raising children. If you're not into it, give it up.
just give it.
I think
Just
I
let
think
it go.
Nick Hornby said that. Like I think it was Nick Hornby. He was just like, if you don't like a book, you've got to quit it because reading should be fun and reading should be enjoyable. You should be wanting to do it.
Yes.
So if you like are dreading it, you need to quit that book immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Opposite advice for songwriters I've heard multiple times. If you start a song, no matter what, just finish it.
Really?
Even if it's shitty, just finish it. And I find that to be good advice.
Mm.
Like, you can make it a verse and a chorus and then you're done. But just try to finish it.
That's
Right.
something I could put in my 40 under 50
Is what?
is write a song.
I know.
Yes.
That's been mine for sure. Let's get back to your list, Brian.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a fun game about books that you can play. If you're sitting next
Okay.
to somebody reading, what I do to Allie is I will look ahead to like the end of the last page. I'll find a word. It'll be like balloon, and then I'll just whisper in her ear balloon, and she won't know why. But then like 2 minminutes later, she'll get to the word, and then she'll laugh.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is clever.
So it's
Didn't
like
we do
rip it.
something like that recently?
Yeah,
babe?
I did something like that in college. So I would leave. I would go to the. I would go to the library. I would go to the library and I would leave like notes in books or write on pages. I would just find a random book in the library and at where I went to college at University of Missouri, and I would write messages or something in them, and I would know what they were. And usually I would do it specifically to people just to like mess with them or like I did it to my girlfriend at the time, and I would say like, hey,
Oh, did she read a lot?
go get this book, find this book and turn to page, like 74. And there would be like
Whoa.
either like a note in there, or I would like circle words that created a note or like something for them. And
Positive prank.
That's
Positive pranks.
There's
That's
a
really
child
cute.
who made his life. He's probably talking about that all the time.
That's
people
so
were just like,
cool.
well,
That's
how
like
did
a
you
long
do that? And it's
game.
just like, yeah, I just thought about something
That's very
awesome.
a
creative.
little bit in advance.
I used to
I'm
have a
reading.
shed. I used to have a shed in my backyard that was there before my parents bought the house. And on the inside of the shed, someone wrote a treasure map. And yeah, a treasure map was written down. And we followed the treasure map, and it led to a rabbit's grave.
I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew it was going to be a
What?
dead animal.
Yeah.
Why? Is that a Russian thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, just
then-
to assume the worst. Yes.
Oh,
then-
yeah.
Assume the darkest thing.
A
And
few
your mom
years
had, like,
later,
a frozen.
Yeah, we have so many dead animals buried around.
Yeah, frozen out.
I brought my friend over. This is like elementary school or before middle school or something. And I said, there was a treasure map. I found a treasure map. And I had went to the rabbit's grave area and changed the treasure map a little bit to be not at the rabbit's grave. And I buried a little chest that had a chicken McNuggets box in it and a single penny in the chicken McNuggets box. And we spent 4 hours following the treasure map. And we found the spot and we're like, we got to dig. And we dug. And then he's like, oh my God, there's something here. And the whole time I'm pretending like this is the first time I've ever seen any
Do you
of
like
this.
giving gifts, Brian? Are you like really into gift giving?
Yeah, I like giving gifts. I don't like receiving
Because you
gifts.
knew the whole time what the surprise was, but you were getting off on the idea, not off, but you were like excited the fact that this guy was going to find something that you already knew existed. So you weren't being excited about finding a thing and being like, what is it?
Well, it was like a
Your whole
positive prank. I thought it was going to be funny
Positive prank.
that he's like, it's going to be treasure. And there's a treasure chest and he opens it and it's a chicken
It's just a
McNuggets box
penny.
with a penny in it. We spent 4 hours like, oh my God.
The books I'm reading right now that I will never finish is The Art of Impossible,
Oh,
a
I've heard
peak
that's
performance primer by Stephen Kotler. It actually is very good, and it just teaches you how to do things that are impossible, like really impossible that, NASA even says you're not going to be able to build a space shuttle that you can reuse twice to go to the moon. And then this guy fucking did it. And it shows you just a map of how you want to do anything, kind of physical feats or, any kind of thing you want to do. Then The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. That is blowing my mind. That is a really good one. It's so hard for me though, because you have to constantly, pretty much the whole premise is that your subconscious mind is kind of stupid and doesn't know irony. It doesn't know joking. It takes everything you tell it seriously. So it's constantly listening to your conscious mind. So whatever you're saying to yourself, about the world, your subconscious mind is going like, that's the way it is, and we're going to proceed that way. So if you're like, I'm an idiot, your subconscious mind is always going to direct you in the way that you're an idiot. So if you lie to it constantly, it doesn't know you're lying. If you're like, I've been recently just saying to myself, you're the best singer in the whole world. Like, cause like I'm God's gift to music. I've been literally saying the most delusional things to it recently, just so that I can trick it into then making that happen. Mm-hmm. And it's almost, he's talked about how they've studied people that have had their optic nerves completely severed. And the people have believed enough that they have sight that doctors are confounded that they're able to see when their optic nerve does not even attach to their eye, but they're able to see again because their subconscious mind is really in charge of everything. But I like the idea that it's like a dumb idiot and it takes everything you say completely seriously. So you can never, it's really hard for me, someone who talks negatively to themselves almost all the time, to then stop it and go like, oh no, it's almost like being around a child and like cussing around a kid and being like, I can fuck up that kid's whole life if I say the wrong thing and it's going to set it off on this weird course. So it really is interesting though. Brian, have you read about this kind of stuff?
Oh, I know all about it. I mean, yeah, it's like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy for anybody who knows what I'm talking about.
Chris?
I am Groot. What is it?
Yeah, he doesn't understand sarcasm. So if you go, that went over my head, and he'd be like, nothing would go over my head. I would catch it. Like that type of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you know about that being like your subconscious mind is really stupid? It's smart in that you know what they compared it to, which I like this analogy. If there's a ship captain, and then there's someone within the hull of the ship that can't see anything outside of what's happening. What are you about to say, Chris?
Captain works.
Captain?
That's what I was thinking. Because you said captain, and that works.
Is it Captain Crunch?
Well, I spent a lot of time on ships.
Is that who you're
just
talking
my
about?
colloquial boat talk coming through. So the captain's upstairs
I think it's
on the
better,
deck.
honestly.
Captain.
And then your subconscious mind is in the hull of the ship, and that's the one that's doing the oars. That's the one that's putting the coal into the fucking thing.
It has a lot of power.
And it can't see out the window. It has no idea. So if the captain is telling it like, go this way, there's no way for it to go like, are we really supposed to go that way? There's not an iceberg coming. It just will do it. So you have to think of your subconscious mind as always taking direction from your conscious mind, and you got to make sure your conscious mind is being a really good boat captain. Otherwise you're gonna fucking Titanic.
Yes.
And everyone can say they hate positive affirmations and it's lame. But if you think about it, you might be giving yourself negative affirmations all day long. So you kind of have to balance it out a little bit.
It takes 3 to 1. So that's pretty much, the studies have shown that 3 positive for every 1 negative. So if you say, oh God, I'm so fat, you got to course correct and say 3 positive things to make your brain undo that thing.
Fat with a PH. Fat with a PH.
Yeah.
Fat with a PH.
So that's an important distinction is you're not only does it not understand sarcasm, but your subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives either. So if you say, I am not fat, your subconscious mind is just hearing, I am fat. It doesn't understand the not part. So you have to say,
really?
I am skinny. I am healthy.
It puts the thought fat in your head. I've heard that too. So rather than saying, I'm not fat, you say, or like, this is one that I do a lot. Like when I was in physical pain, I'd be like, okay, I have any pain. And then I heard, no, you have to say like, I feel incredible. I am mobile.
Yes.
I am at 100%. Even I am at 100% might be slightly putting the idea in your subconscious mind that there's a possibility of a deficit. So you just say like, I'm thriving.
Sometimes though, I cannot help it. Like I'm someone who believes in this stuff, and even reading the books, I'm like, this is the way I'm going to lead my life. I'm going to change my life on a fucking dime right now. I'm never going to talk negatively to myself again. It doesn't behoove me. It feels so good to bully myself. I'm not kidding you. I almost started an account just to write on my own posts the things that I know other people are already thinking so that I can beat them to it. and they don't get to control the narrative. I get to control it. So like,
But then you're in a hell of your own making.
Yeah.
but at least I get to. There's some. It
And
was the weirdest.
probably
I didn't do
nobody's
it, and I
doing
would
that.
never do it. But I really thought like I can bully myself better than these people, and I want to be the one to do it, to show them how it's done.
So
If
what's
that
the
makes-
3-to-1 to that? That's a lot of effort.
I
And,
don't
like,
know.
How do you balance that out? You have to create like a positive account to be
You
like,
know what I needed to
girl,
do?
You're gorgeous.
You have
I needed
three
to squeeze
positive-
out 3 tears, and then I was fine.
Oh.
Like crying just like fixes everything for me, and I don't know why I can't do it more often. I just every time I'm feeling that way, I think I just need to go. I need to step away and watch a sad movie or a video or something and just cry, because after I cry, I don't even have that feeling of like, oh, I feel stupid now. Like I just feel like better. And it literally fixes everything. I can't believe I'm so late to the game and figuring out this cry thing. It's pretty fucking good.
I think what you have there, though, is a screenplay. I think that's a movie. You have a social media influencer who is sick and tired of trolls. So she goes and creates a fake account that trolls her. And then the fake account becomes also very famous. And then she has to pretend to be both these people.
I
And then
love
maybe-
I like
it.
this.
Maybe she winds up, having a suicide attempt or something like that. This is a movie. Then she has to come
This
clean.
is how it's going to go. I could have
Hilarious.
told you that.
And then like the guy of her dreams falls in love with the bully.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
And then she has to become the bully in a scene.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good, you guys. We're
Yeah,
on to
yeah.
something. We should take this
Don't
part
tell
out of the
anybody. Don't
podcast.
tell
No one
anybody.
steals it.
Just do a
No one
long
hears
beep.
this. So we're in London.
Well, I feel like there was another story besides the person who had like your future life and who hated it. We had another story that we really liked.
Oh, about the lounge singing woman. Oh yeah, I wrote it down. Hold on, let me see, because I had.
Does it
something
take
today.
place in Berlin or did it take place in Vienna?
Oh no, this one takes place in JFK. No, not JFK. Newark Airport.
Oh yeah. This was awesome.
So we flew from St. Louis to Newark, and then from Newark to Berlin, and Chris and I had like a 6-hour layover. And so,
Jeez.
which is kind of nice because Newark actually is like in good shape. I used to think Newark was the worst airport by far, but we were in a good section. And we sat down at a restaurant. Chris made a joke that I didn't even understand was a joke at the time, but looking back, it was funny because I was like, do you want to sit inside? And he goes, no, let's sit outside. And it's like not outside, it's just like in the terminal. So we sit outside and I get some shishito peppers. You get some little fried dumplings, and we're having a nice little chat. And then I look behind Chris and I see a duty-free shop, and one of the posters for the fragrance is this model. And I go, look behind you. It's Willa. And he turns around and it looks exactly like Willa from Succession. Her name is Justine. I forget her last
Lupe.
name. Lupe. Yeah. Oh, easy. That was a little too fast. Why don't you try to look it up like Camille Kostick again? Pretend like you don't know.
Well, I'm rooting for her more than most other people in the show. Like I want her to have a happy ending.
I think her whole turn in the show has been very interesting. But anyway, she plays Willow. She plays Connor Roy's wife, but who started out as his prostitute
Yeah.
girlfriend. Like everyone knew, everyone always talked about like she's just being paid to hang out with him. And then they end up getting married. And now she's kind of like the most supportive wife out of the whole thing. Like they have the best relationship of anyone, which is fairly ironic given how they met and how she was kind of, when he first was like, do you think you could be happy with me? Or are you happy with me? And she was like, yeah. Like she's just like kind of not bad into it. And she goes, I'm not going to leave now. She said that to him and he was like, okay, good. And he's all just like heartened by that. So anyway, they get married. And, but I go, doesn't that look like Willa? And he turns around, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot what you said. You kind of were like, yeah, kind of. And he's like, not as good as Justine Lupe. And I go, easy. And then
Isn't that
5
so
minutes
funny?
pass. What?
You're just, if a guy thinks an actress is hot, if they know their full name off the top of their head.
Yes, totally. And so, like the other night, we were watching. Oh, what were we watching? And we were some sporting thing. And I go, oh, look who's like on a cool sports. It was like she was like on some like Porsche or like cool like F1 brand, and it was what is her name? I don't even know her. No Dobrev. Dobrev.
Nina Dobrev.
Nina Dobrev.
Oh,
No
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
I have no idea.
Right, of course. No clue, right?
I didn't know her name either.
But Chris goes, oh, yeah, she's good. She's something.
She's
And he just
something.
says she's special. Like, I never get jealous of him ogling women, and not ogling, just but like noticing a woman's beauty. It doesn't bother me. But then he goes, "Oh, she's the one with the red dress," and I go, "What?" And then
On
now
Dancing with the
I'm starting to
Stars?
go, "What's going on here?" And I go, I bet he knows. And sure enough, you Google Nina Dobrev red
No, I
dress. No, you, like as in the user.
general you.
General
Oh,
you.
okay,
If you
yeah,
Google it,
Oh.
because I
Captain
Googled
you.
it and looked it up, and it is quite impressive.
Yeah.
There are some boobs going, there's different angles of boob. There's side boob, there's under boob, there's top boob. It's all of the sides of the boob in one dress. It's
Wow.
it's fantastic. And but anyway, so he was a fan, and we're also fans of this Willa character. So 5 minutes after I point out this girl looks like her, I'm talking about some bullshit, and Chris is listening, kind of, and then all of a sudden I see his face go like, oh my god. He goes, Will, and I think he's saying Will, and I go, who's Will? And then passing us, and he goes, it's Willa. And I go, what? And it's, so she was walking behind me, right, towards him. Then she passes me, and then I see the back of her head, and I was like, oh my God, we love you. Like I tried to get her attention.
You're the best.
And she didn't turn around. But then she kind of did further down, because I think you said that she saw you make the recognition.
Yeah, I think she saw in my
You
face, because
hyperventilate.
I think those people that like are newly famous, they can kind of see somebody
Yes, for
doing
sure.
the math in their head, and I think she saw me doing the math, and
She
I
made
think
herself kind of available to it.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I just think she was like, I think that guy's doing the math,
Right.
and
He lost
I don't know
weight.
if he's gotten there yet.
So I'm like freaking out, but I know where she's going, because she's going to a dead end. We just came from there. That's where our flight got out, and it's a dead end, and there's no food, and they don't seem to be in a rush, her and her boyfriend. So I was like, oh, their gate is down there. They're going to look at their gate, and they're going to circle back around, because they seem to have time. They're going to go back and try to find something to eat. We're going to see him again. So I was like, because I'm going to say something. I'm not letting, I have a Succession bingo card, and I want to meet everyone from that show.
I loved your enthusiasm for the situation, because I thought it was like, oh, that was fun to see them. But then you believed they were coming back, and you were like, oh, this is going to be a thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, because Chris and I continued our conversation. I said, I don't want you to think I'm rude, but I'm on Willow watch right now. Like, I'm going to be looking behind you, but I'm there,
She
you know?
was definitely.
So then all of a sudden, Willow
Yeah, I
comes
felt like
back
I was
around.
at like an LA party where you were just like looking over my shoulder to see if there was somebody more
true.
interesting to talk to.
That's so true. So I was looking over his shoulder, but I told him, like, don't think I'm rude. Like, I am looking for someone better. And
And then Glenn from Maverick, Top Gun.
No, I'm
She's
not into him anymore.
Constantly searching.
I don't care for that anymore. So then I see her, and she's walking towards me, and I am desperate to make I started fixing my hair and like doing this under my eyes to like smooth out my bags, and I go, do I look weird? Do I have anything in my teeth? Because I was eating seaweed salad and like these peppers. And so I'm like, is there anything? And then I'm like, hi. I go, oh, and I waved, and I got her attention, and she walks, right by our table. So she stops, and I go, I love you so much. You are so great. You are so talented. Like, what did I say?
No, you
I
just
kinda blacked out.
You're going
you
to
were
have
gushing.
a huge career.
Yeah, you were gushing. Yeah, and you were very positive about her future, and she was really sweet about the whole thing. And her guy was,
Yeah, he was
he
kinda
reminded
tickled
me
by it, too.
of me, just like because when people come up to you all the time and are talking to you, and I'm just sort of like sitting in the background, like smiling and nodding
Yeah,
along.
he was, like,
great,
proud
like that.
of
Yeah,
her.
he was beaming.
Because I was
so
like,
sweet.
and I wanted to give her a compliment that was beyond like, because I know what it's probably like to get a role like that. You've been working your whole life, and you have so many other things you've done, and now this is the only thing you ever get recognized for. And it just ended too, and maybe you don't have anything coming up. But I was like, but she's so good on that show, and I've studied her acting so much on it because she's so funny and so subtle, that I was just like, I need to give her a good compliment. So I said, we'll be watching you forever. I was like, you're so fantastic. You're such a good actress, and you're just amazing. And she was just like, thank you. And she just looked stunning, but like normal, not as tall as you think Willow would be. For everyone who watches Succession, you probably think she's very, very tall.
Yeah, I was going to guess like 5'11".
She may have been actually, because models, she's like model beautiful. So she just looked like gorgeous. And then I went to the bathroom afterwards and I was like, I got to get my shit together. Like she didn't have any makeup on, yet she still looked stunning. I mean, we both had the same level of care put in, but I looked like a ragamuffin. So anyway, I
Balance it out.
So excited.
3 more compliments.
And Chris, oh yeah, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm lucky, and things work out for me. And so then, and I'm going to be watching myself the rest of my life. And so then I was like, yeah. And Chris took a picture and she's very small in the background because by then she had gotten far away. And then I posted it and I tagged her in it. And then she wrote me back and she said, this is the most flattering, and all these heart emojis. And she said, I've loved hearing you on podcasts talking about your life with such honesty. Of course, your comedy is so great, but hearing you be so transparent is really inspiring and quite rare. And then I wrote back a gigantic paragraph. She saw it, didn't write back, but we're off to a good start. I said, thank you so much for saying this. It makes me feel so good. I am such a fan and will be for life. I legit rewind and rewatch and study the subtle comedic choices you make on the show. You're such a standout. I'm not telling you anything that everyone isn't already saying, but you're truly next level. So nice to meet you, XO.
Oh, that's so nice.
But I put an
Nikki.
XO. That's like a period. That's
You're
really
very
why she did.
thoughtful with your compliments. Those are great.
Well done.
thought
Because
out.
I get compliments all the time and they break my fucking heart. And that's why I don't like hanging out after. Just like, I love you on your roasts. And they've just watched me do stand up. But this is how they say it. They go, you know what I really love is your roasts. That's what they say. Or they'll just, compliments more than not when you are an insecure person, and which most performers are, just take something from you sometimes. But I try to give what I would want without being insincere.
I think it's easy. It's easy for people to use something negative to then make it seem like whatever they're like. They set it up with like, I'm not usually into female comics, but you're funny. So they think it's like catapulting their compliment into the stratosphere.
Yes.
When really,
like, I won over this guy. He doesn't like female comics. That must be pretty good. I don't think he's an idiot at all from his first statement.
But people think like, oh, this is like I usually don't watch stuff like this, but I'm really into your stuff. And it's like, all right, well, cool. Your compliment didn't need to like
There's like judgment.
or
There's like judgment
or like
in it.
describe yourself.
Yes.
Like, I don't care.
I think
who cares?
giving compliments is an art form. Like, not everyone knows how to do it. You have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, I read a book on it.
I read a book.
Really well said.
No,
Noah.
you didn't.
Yes,
He's
I
writing
did.
a book on it.
I also think it would be funny if it turns out that wasn't Willa and you were just like, I'm going to be watching you. I love you.
Oh my God.
And her boyfriend's like, But no, I
No,
read
but
a
that
book.
made me feel really good. But you read a book about how to give compliments?
How to Talk to Anyone, 91 Little Secrets for Big Success.
You love these numbers. Okay, so what are some of
You
the
haven't
things
read
you
that?
learned from it?
Have you guys?
No, I like this book. Wait, we have to take a break. Let's learn from Brian about how to best give compliments and talk to people when we get back, and to casual dance. We'll learn all of it when we get back. All right, Brian. 91 ways to talk to people. What was the title of the book again?
How to Talk to Anyone, 91 Little Secrets for Big Success. It's a great book.
No, you don't, Anya. You are so
small
personable.
talky.
You can also
but
do.
no one wants to
She
be
also
good at
has
small
another
talk.
book called How to Fall in Love with Anyone, and or how anyone can fall in love with. I forgot what the title is, but How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You. And a
Is
couple
it kind
others.
of Dale Carnegie?
Yes. Tell us some tips.
Yeah,
Give us
let's
a
get
couple.
like some of the more fascinating things you learned.
My favorite tip about complimenting is that it's how to accept a compliment. Often people will be rude and not accept compliments. If someone says, "Hey, that's a nice shirt," a common response would be, "Oh, this old thing. This is a piece of shit. I hate this." And then it makes the complimenter feel stupid.
Yeah,
It's like saying you're stupid that you thought this was a nice shirt.
It's an
Right.
insult.
So what do you do? How do you accept a compliment in a good way?
Thank you.
You say, that's so nice of you. How thoughtful of you to think of me like that. But to think how interesting of you to make that observation.
Yeah, that's pretty close. So that's actually pretty close. So if you just say thank you, that's like fine, but that's like a C at, like a grade.
No.
Yeah. Because that's like, okay, I have acknowledged that, I didn't shoot you down, but what you're supposed to do.
So nice of you to say that.
Thank you. That
that's
feels
like a C+.
nice.
Okay. C plus. But
I was hating this shirt earlier, but you made me feel so incredible.
Here, take it.
oh my God. Did you see the clip when Donald Trump was on Conan from like before he was a political guy?
No.
And he had this Trump tie on. He was wearing one of his own ties. And Conan, was just being nice. And he said, "Oh, I like your tie. That's a nice tie." And then Trump said, "Oh, you like this tie? I'll give it to you." And he took off his tie and gave it to Conan. And then Conan, did you ever see that?
No, but do you feel like he read a book?
Was that the
That whole
answer?
interaction made me feel weird.
I've had that happen to me before where people have been like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yes, Whitney, I'd love that shirt with horses on it."
My dad does that a lot.
Yeah, your dad does that. Yeah.
Every time I'm like, "Oh, cool." He gets like a new Patagonia. I'm like, "Yeah, cool Patagonia." And he's like, "You can have it."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No thanks."
That is so sweet.
He every
My
single
mom
time
does that too.
If you compliment anything, so we like start like we'll do this. We'll compliment him on things. We'll be like, "What?"
I love that stack of cash.
What can we get off a dad?
Yeah.
Pretty soon he's naked.
What is the
what's the
tip,
answer?
Brian?
so the
What do you
tip is
say?
You need to compliment the complimenter for complimenting you.
Oh my
So
God,
if
we're
somebody
all so
says-
self-centered, we didn't think of that.
You got to think of the other person. So if somebody says, "That's a nice shirt," then you should say, "Oh, that's so interesting that you say that. Actually, my aunt got me this shirt for my birthday, and it's
This
one of
is
my
not-
favorite shirts." So you're very smart.
Let me just say the difference between what Anya's response is that we should think of that. We
Right.
only think of ourselves. This is a book written about people who think about trying to get things from people. This is a book about how to manipulate people to like you more. So it's not really
thank you.
thinking about someone else. This is what you would do to get that person to
But
like you more.
Isn't this what the coach on Love on the Spectrum was teaching them when she was like rolling the ball back and forth?
Yes, Michael.
Michael.
Yes, Michael, that's a great question. Now ask her if she also likes horses. Yes, Michael.
Well, that's an amazing Australian accent. If that was Australian,
Oh, it was
she's very
all
good.
right.
New Zealand, mate.
That is so difficult. That's one of the most difficult accents to do.
Well, here's a trick. If you want to say the word no,
It's so thoughtful of you to make that observation about Nikki, Brian.
well, thanks, Chris.
My aunt once made an
Well, you say you
observation.
have to. You make them feel smart for having
yes.
observed.
But these
that.
are manipulative techniques. These aren't just like this is what you should do to be a good person. It's like this is how you get them.
And then you compliment them. What if they have a shitty shirt?
But then when
But
does it
isn't that-
end?
No, no,
because then
that's
they'll
a-
say,
that's
It's
"Yeah,
like
it
you
was great
giving
of
you a
you to
thank you
say
card,
that."
and then a thank you for the thank you card.
Yes,
Here's a thank you
yes.
card for you.
Never end.
No, you don't return the compliment with a compliment. You compliment the complimenter for complimenting you. So if you
I
say,
see.
if they say, "Hey, that's a nice shirt," and then you go, "Oh, you have a nice shirt too," that's just as
Well, no.
bad as saying,
That's bullshit. I
Yeah.
hate that.
"Yeah,
Okay.
don't do
I
that."
think it's like, thank you. I love this shirt. It's so nice of you to say that.
That's pretty good. That's like an A- because you are telling the person that they are
That
smart
they-
for pointing
yes,
that out because
and
they
special.
notice something that other people
Here
don't notice.
is one of my biggest pet peeves in when returning a compliment. Someone will say, "Nikki, you are so funny. That was so good. You're one of the best comics." I'll go, "That's so nice." And they go, "No, I'm not being nice. I'm not being." And then I have to start fighting with them of like, "Well, it's still nice that you said it. And it can still be," they go, "It's just true." And I go, "Well, thank you." And they go, "You don't need to thank me. And I'm like, I can't fucking win here. Like, do you know what have people done that to you?
Yeah.
Where they go, "I'm not being nice. It's not nice. It's just true." And you're like,
Yes.
okay,
All right,
I
calm
get
down.
it.
You're the expert.
I'm not saying that you're being nice to me does not mean a lie. It just means that makes me feel good. And then
Yeah.
I eventually get to that and then they kind of move on. But where they have to kind of be like, "No, I'm smarter than all these
Yes.
people here. I'm telling you the truth. Like, I get it. A lot of girls will say to me, I'm pretty intellectual and like you're smart. Like, I want to let you know, like I hang out with doctors mostly and you are like on the level." And I'll go,
Like I read
Well,
Mark
"I would
Twain's
have appreciated
autobiography.
this."
Well, it's like a little mini brag or like telling, people like trying to tell you their personality. And it's like, I don't care.
I did that a little bit with Justine. Like, I knew that she probably respects me comedically, so I needed to let her know your comedic choices are like, I knew that she's aware of me, so there is probably like a pedestal of like, this girl knows comedy, and I had to give her one because she is good at comedy. in a way that maybe it would mean more to her than someone else. So I kind of did the same thing.
I very badly, because you couldn't do it, wanted to be like, when you were like, when you guys had that like a little exchange, I very badly wanted to be like, this is, you don't know this, but this is Nikki. She's one of the best comics. Like,
or she's one of the biggest Succession fans
yeah.
ever. But yeah, thank you, babe, for almost saying that. That's really nice of you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
That's
it's
nice
really
of you for
smart of
saying
you
that.
to think of
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
see, that's
you.
the missing
Well,
element.
thank you for being that nice about that.
Okay, what are some other tricks of the trade, Brian, to like be a good conversationalist and to get people to like you and fall in love with you?
Okay, so if you are, this is an easy one. Everybody knows this one, but sometimes people don't do it. If you are at a party and you are introducing somebody to somebody else, you should say something that is interesting about them that you think the other person will have in common with them. You don't just dump people off and say, "Oh, Jen, this is Alice. Jen is my coworker," and then leave them. You got to think, what do these two people maybe have in common? Oh, Jen, this is Alice. Do you know you guys, both went to school in Ohio? Boom. Now they can talk for as long as you can leave.
Right.
I'm good
But
at that over email intros. I give a great email intro. But
Yeah.
I have a hard time in person a lot of times.
So
I
just
freeze
print it up beforehand and
Yeah.
read it off when you go to a party.
It sounds so common sense. It sounds like everyone must do that, but then you go to a party and it doesn't happen, and then you're just sitting
My
there.
favorite trick, and I've talked about this so many times, but it's just the funniest trick to me, is that if you ask someone, this is totally manipulative. If you ask someone for a favor that you can do, like if I was like, Anya, will you turn up my volume? And I easily could do it, and you do it. You in your head have to think, I didn't just do that because I'm a little bitch. I must do it because I really like Nikki. And so it makes you like me more because your subconscious doesn't want to feel like a little bitch that this girl just bosses around. So you convince yourself, I did it because I love Nikki and I like her. And I do think, so isn't that, have you ever read that one, Brian?
I'm not really following what you're saying.
I've seen it. It's basically you ask for small favors and you think it's going to count against you. Like, oh man, Nikki's always asking me to do these favors, but it does the opposite. Instead of you liking Nikki less because she's always bugging you with stuff, it makes you think you like her more.
That's
weird. Because you have to convince yourself it's too hard to think, I'm doing this because she asked, I'm a little bitch boy or whatever. I know.
You really lean into
But that's the only way I can think of it. Like I'm like a pussy that gets bossed around by this lady. Because I've had it happen to me before where I'm like, why am I doing this? And you do this cognitive shift where you go, oh, I don't do this because I'm a pushover and a little bitch. I hate that word. I do it, right?
I don't even know.
But then I do it because I like her. And then therefore you then do like them more. It's a Dale Carnegie trick. And it's also in this book called The Psychology of Influence that is very fascinating. I've never used that because I don't want someone to like me because I've done a mental manipulation on them. I want them to like me for pure reasons. That's also why in stand-up, I talk over claps because I know that the audience, if they clap, if they laugh and they keep laughing, they'll eventually go to a clap if you just take a sip of water. But I don't want them to do that because I know that it's a trick and they will be at the end, they will like me more, not because I was funny, but because I tricked them into clapping to fill the silence to get through my water sip. And it's a thing that every comedian does. And I'm not saying I'm better because I don't do it, but I think I might be because I want to be judged on the merit of my comedy, which I don't think is up to snuff with a lot of comedians.
There
I
are
think
some
it could do a
comedians
better
who
job.
only get claps.
Yes.
They don't get any laughs. It's just like
We call it clapter.
Yeah.
It's because it's
Nikki
of
and I are
laughter.
watching a bunch of we're watching some
We're
stand-up.
plowing
right
through
now.
specials.
And it's wild that claps somehow are substitutes for laughs. And you're like, nobody was laughing there.
And I don't, as a viewer, want to hear people clapping at home. It bores me. I'm like, I'm not there. Let's speed this up. I don't
If it's
like
a laugh
it.
and a clap,
Laughs
great.
into claps, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, once in a while, I think 3 per special.
It's a little, it's kind of like, is this a TED Talk? Are you empowering us? Like,
Which is
what?
fine too. Like, I'm okay with being empowered. But if you're using it if you're just taking too many pauses, I'm just suspicious. And I think you're a little bit of a magician, which is part of comedy, and that's fine. And I've talked about it so much on here. But yeah, Chris and I are plowing through specials. We watched Seinfeld's 23 Hours to Kill. It's so good. I loved it.
It's so funny.
But I have to say that Bill Burr's Red Rocks is the special to beat right now. I think
So
it is. It is so fucking good. It took me so long to watch it because I don't want to compare myself to him. It makes me depressed about like how good you can be, and like his just it's just he's the best. There's no
Better than
fat.
Mulaney?
Straight to the funniest stuff. I
Yes.
mean, same sort of thing. You know,
I mean,
Mulaney.
I would say Mulaney's right there with him, but to me, it's Mulaney, and I will only say this because I do this too. Mulaney is more performative. Bill is like in the moment, like pissed off about these things. Like there's no, and I'm sure there's obviously he's having to amp some of this up. He can't be this mad about this thing he wrote about, but it does seem of his mind in that moment. And you know, the way he plays with the mic stand, the way he plays with his water, like there's no kind of movement that seems calculated. It seems like, and Louis used to do this too, and say that every time he tells a joke, he tells it a different way because he wants it to be like in the moment. He wants to find new things about it. I don't like when comedians I don't like act outs very much unless they're really good. Taylor Tomlinson had a great act out where she was like climbing off a guy the other day, and I studied it, being like, it's so perfectly mimed out of being on top of a guy and him saying something gross, and you kind of just go, like it was so good, and it made me like go like I need to do more act outs. But I don't like act outs where like you just are preparing to get to something that is like not that good. I don't know.
You've got some act outs in your act right now that I'm into.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
which one? Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like where you're just it's more of like a physical thing that's
Yes.
like similar.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't want to spoil it right now.
But I
'cause
don't-
It's gonna be in the special.
right. But I guess I'm saying I don't want to act out ire or confusion, or I want to be in the moment. Bill Burr, to me, which I don't know how he does it, I think it's because he writes from such an authentic place. And dude, this special's so good. And I've been talking about this because Bill Burr, I was always kind of reluctant to watch his stuff because he's so good and it's so undeniable. But there was a lot of like, women suck, and it made me like feel bad about being a woman, and because he would like convince me that I kind of women suck, and I'd be like kind of sad about myself afterwards. Final thought. But Bill Burr, I saw him on Conan back during COVID, and he talked about, it was one of the episodes where Conan was doing it at Largo and there's no audience. It was a little bit more intimate. And he was talking about doing mushrooms and having this epiphany that all of his anger on stage and off was coming from a place of feeling alone and unwanted and unloved as a child. And I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not exactly saying what he said, but he said this on Conan. And it was interesting because on Conan, usually he is just like rapid fire, the funniest person that's ever existed, always saying things like they're off the top of his head, but they're somehow just beautifully written, but they're also seemingly so just pure, and he's just the best, I think. And I've always watched him on Conan and just been in complete awe. But this Conan was so special because he was just like, yeah, I did mushrooms and realized I'm fucking angry because my childhood and my dad didn't fucking love me, and I had shitty parents. And it kind of just sat there, and there wasn't a punchline coming. And he was like, what did he say? He goes, you know what? There's a thing called like empathy that I've lacked. I don't know. I'm just like getting into empathy now. And there was no joke there. It was just, and Conan was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah. And it was just there.
And he's like, I have a lot to process. It's going to take me a long time, I realized, to like emotionally mature. It's giving me goosebumps right now.
I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for whatever's going to come after this. And then he put out Red Rocks, and I remember seeing some like women stuff on there where I'm like, oh, maybe he's back to his old ways or whatever. I didn't give it a chance. And then I saw one clip that I really loved, and I've talked about it before. It's the Lizzo clip where he's like, women love Lizzo because they're not threatened by her. Among other reasons, they love her. But like, everyone's like, yeah, girl, because they're like, you're not going to steal my like whatever it is. There was some truth to that I found really refreshing. And but then we watched it the other night, and he talks about doing mushroom. He went into it. Now he has jokes around the whole mushroom trip and how he felt this loneliness and he couldn't get out of it, and it kept going lower and lower and lower. And he describes it and how And then he tells a story about running into a lesbian in the street, and she like kind of gives him like a really hard shoulder, and he's so fucking pissed about it. Like, why the fuck would she do that? Like, what a bitch! And like anyone would about someone who like just bumps into them really hard with warning. Like he's walking towards her on the sidewalk, and he's trying to get out of her way, and she switches to the side he's on, and then she switches when he tries to get to the other side, and then she fucking just like shoves him. And then by the end of it, he's like found this commonality and this empathy for her, and just. It's just the coolest thing. And he just also seems like such a good dad, but he's sharing these moments where he thinks he's going to fuck up his kid. But they're moments where he's like a, quote unquote bad dad, or like maybe not the best dad, but he also has empathy for himself. It's just like really beautiful. And he just seems, I don't know. I really think that's the level to aspire to get to, is to be completely authentic, not lying about anything. Yeah. There's no bullshit. Louis used to tell us that his kids were pieces of shit and that he didn't, he got a hand job from his wife on the floor, things like that. And you go, God, this is refreshing. It's honest. And there were truths to that. Bill does not seem to be holding back any like ugly side of himself that he's not presenting to us. And I just found it to be just inspirational.
Yeah, he was amazing. He's in the pocket. He's authentic. Ali Wong is another thing. It's just like,
yes,
to see some of these people just being themselves and being so funny, I think is one of my favorite things of watching specials back to back to back, is you just see these people that are so comfortable with who they are. And part of that is like with age and all that stuff. But man, those two, so good. Bargatze's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It's something that, comes with time. And that's the nice thing about stand-up.
And also therapy and doing some work on yourself. Like I find if you watch older Bill Burr stuff, it's not quite, it's all good, but it's not quite as deep because of these revelations that he's having.
Still be mad at women and see the hypocrisies of our movements and still have really good things that make me go, God, we do that. And that is cringe. And like, man, he does have a good point, which is the opposite of the side I'm on, and like makes me, his thing about abortion, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but his analogy is one of the best analogies going. He says like, I'm pro-choice, but you got to admit it, you're killing a baby. Like it is murder. Like, I'm sorry, And he says it's like, he goes, but they say it's not a baby yet, whatever they say. And he says it's like if you were to be baking a cake and you get a cake and you put it in the oven and then someone comes out and just takes the cake before it's fully done and just throws it on the floor. And you go, what did you do to my cake? And they're like, it wasn't a cake yet. You go, it would have been. And it just like, it made me think a little bit. It was just such a perfect analogy. It's nice to have someone out there that I aspire to be that is as good as he is, because I see the work he puts in, obviously, to writing, but I think the real work that he's putting in is just finding out how to be as authentic as possible, which seems a lot more easy to me than like sitting down with a laptop at Starbucks, which to me is not going to happen ever for me, but I might find a new truth to myself. Like if just keeping it, like what else there's still things I'm probably not being fully honest about on stage. And that's exciting to go, well, maybe I can get even further into something that is even more that I don't even realize about myself yet.
Oh, your act has evolved so much. You've always been lauded as somebody that's like painfully honest, which is such a great thing that that's why I think most people love you, is that you're just going to say the things that no one is brave enough to say. But like, I think if you compare your older comedy to now, it's like now you're broaching topics that make people really uncomfortable, but you're like, I don't care. I want to talk about this shit. People should talk about this. And I think that's what is exciting, because it's like funny and it can create change within people.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks, girl.
It's true. I think earlier it's like joke. And now you're like, why is society this way?
Yeah, that's really nice. I appreciate that.
It was so nice of you to say something that.
Why?
That's really smart of you. No, okay, I got it. You want to see this? Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I really appreciate that compliment, because you are noticing this thing about myself that I didn't think anyone really saw, and you are paying attention to something that, first of all, no one else has even been that astute. And wait, I'm giving the like bullshit version.
Yeah.
No one else has ever given me a compliment like that. And you are noticing something about me that I I really have only noticed about myself. And I was thinking maybe someone got it and you get it.
I feel good now.
Right?
Even though
Really
you
good.
know the trick, isn't it working?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Aren't you more likely to compliment now
Midway
too?
through, I was like, this is bullshit.
I think in general, people need to give more compliments. I just.
Anya, will you do me a huge favor and hand me those glasses?
no, I'm not going to be your
yourself.
But I do like you more now for some reason.
Okay, what do we have to do in London while we're here the next couple days? Have you guys been to London, Noah, Brian?
Never.
I've never been to Europe, sadly.
You haven't? Is that
No.
on your list?
Brian, would you go to Europe with me? We should do a trip together.
Yeah,
Brian's a
actually,
good-
go to
Brian's a
Europe
good
is
trip
on my
buddy.
list. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
go.
before 40? Yeah, then I'm
Number
in on
4.
this.
So
Foreign
you eat a
travel.
strawberry? Or is
Yeah,
that
well,
Japan?
that's Japan.
Okay.
Okay.
Man. No, there's
Wait,
a lot
will
of
you just
apples in
rattle
there.
off some of your list? Can we just
Yeah.
get just rapid fire?
So on life,
Take us out, Brian.
Go into the sea. There's
You haven't
40.
done that yet?
Wait, you live
No,
in
I
Los Angeles.
did, but it was a long time since I had gone into the sea. So I did it. I went
Wait,
to the
like
sea.
on a
That
boat?
sounds like you're about to kill yourself.
Scuba
like
diving.
just
Kendall,
walk
that's
into
some Kendall Roy
Yeah.
stuff right there.
Walk into the sea wearing a heavy coat.
Go into the sea. Okay, what
Are
else?
you your dad's number one boy?
I love this list.
Okay. Spend a continuous month in New York,
Great.
which I
Okay.
did. I did that last year.
Okay.
Make a
Didn't you live there for years?
he grew up there.
What do you mean?
He grew up on Long
No,
Island.
but now that I live in
Okay,
LA,
okay,
I wanted
okay.
to go back to New York and spend a full
Right.
month there, and I did.
Okay.
Make a Genoese sponge.
I like this list a lot.
Have you done that one yet?
If you're- no, I can't figure it out.
Sorry.
Have you tried?
What
You're
the
failing?
fuck is a Genoese?
It's got to be some kind of fucking cake. I don't know.
It's
Oh, I
it's something
thought
they
it
have
was-
to frequently make from scratch on the Great British Bake Off. So I was like, I should learn how to do this.
Oh.
A
You know,
Genoese
you have 40 things. You got to make it achievable. You
Keep
can't-
going. We need more. I'm sorry. I got to keep going here.
Make a trifle.
No, there also is make a chocolate souffle, which I haven't done yet either. That's
Okay.
hard.
Let's
though.
go through the ones you haven't done.
Okay. Visit my mom's house in Florida. I have not done yet.
Okay.
That's something everybody should do.
I know. At least
Put
once.
everybody, if you're listening right now, put this on your 40 under 40 list. Visit Brian's mom's house in Florida.
Go to Iceland. I haven't done that. I was supposed to go in 2020, and obviously we couldn't.
What happened?
Well, there was a bear attack in Iceland,
Okay.
and they
yeah.
said we got until we take care of this bear, no one can come in.
Hey, Brian, you know what we should do is the next time there's a volcano there, we should just buy a ticket to Iceland immediately and go see the volcano.
Well, I have to go with
You've
Allie.
never
Allie's gotta
asked
come
me to
too.
go on any spontaneous trips, and you've asked Brian to go on
Chris is dying to
three.
get away from you.
That's not true. I'm always asking Nikki to go on trips, and she's like,
That's
"No, I
true.
just can't. I can't make any time for it." And then it's like, "Oh, but in a week we're doing another girls' trip."
But you never say specifics like I want to go try a strawberry. I like a goal. I feel like we're just gonna go over there and walk around aimlessly. I like I'll go eat a strawberry
All right,
in Japan
well,
with you.
I'm
me
starving.
me and Brian have stuff for the next 3 years, so
Wow.
2027.
No, you've
it's
got
all me and you.
Okay, give us a couple more, Brian.
Okay, I want to read all the memoirs on my bookshelf, which is a lot
yeah,
that I haven't done.
yeah.
And
that's
they're
tough.
all comedians' memoirs, and I like to only read memoirs of people who are over 60 because I don't think that they have enough knowledge and wisdom if they're under 60.
You can fly through prior convictions and Born Standing Up. Those take like no time.
already
at all.
read Born Standing Up. Who's prior conviction? That's Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor, and then Sam Kinnison's brother Sam, I think, is that one takes a little bit.
Right now, I'm on
It
this.
takes-
Oh, cool.
oh God.
Rickles.
Okay,
I
Rickles.
got to do that one.
Yeah. The best one I've ever
All right.
read, the best memoir I've ever read from a comedian so far is Dean and Me by Jerry Lewis. It's the most succinct. It's focused on his relationship with Dean Martin. It made me so emotional. Just the
you
whole
only
thing.
read memoirs and autobiographies. Will you read a biography?
No, I'll only read it if it's written by the person.
Okay. Sorry. Tell us why the one was so good.
Dean and Me is it's not framed. Also, Norm's memoir I read was really good. Obviously, he's not serious in it, but Dean and Me is focused on it's framed like a love story between Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, and it's not like I was born this year and then I went to this school and then this was what my mom was like and this was what my dad was like, and like a lot of memoirs will just like go through all the facts of someone's life. Dean and Me focuses on the day Jerry Lewis met Dean Martin and then their relationship, how their careers rose together and how they had a falling out, like a relationship breaking up. And then Jerry Lewis was still alive when he wrote the book, obviously, when it came out. He didn't write, he was still alive. I think Dean Martin was dead though. And he wrote about, after many years, them reconnecting on one of the telethons. And the book ended. It didn't go like, and now that I'm this age, now I'm doing this. It was like, it's about that focus thing. And I think that should be a lesson for anyone who wants to write a memoir. Focus it on a narrative, focus it on a specific thing. Don't just make it a layer, a list of facts going through the timeline of your life. Nobody really wants to know every single thing, the street you grew up on and stuff. Make it focused on a narrative.
That's
all right.
cool.
That's why
I
it was
like
so
that.
good.
Are there any memoirs that you're into, Glaze?
Wait, are you setting me up for something?
No.
Oh, that was nice of you to just ask. That's a really good question. And it seems like you're really good at your job of being on radio and
I just want to say
podcasting.
thank you for thanking me
Yeah.
for that, because like that means a lot to me.
I
and
will
that's
say
something-
that I loved the Johnny Carson biography, which was an unauthorized biography by his lawyer, who is his best
Oh,
friend.
I'm
and it's
interested.
fucking good, dude. That guy was
okay.
a monster, complicated, sad, but like obviously a legend, and written by someone who loved him very much. But that is really good. And someone with like that mom would never love him enough and was never proud of him. There was one scene where he like, buys his mom a house, and he's, hosting the Tonight Show. He's like the most famous man in the country. And his mom is just like, I don't like it. Like she would never say she's proud of him. She will never give him anything. And it's the root of everything that he does. It's so interesting.
I like Nora Ephron's I Think I Hate My Neck or I Hate My Neck or
Oh,
something.
so good. Anything
I
more
related so much. Like
That's
when
a
she's
memoir.
like,
She wrote it.
yeah, I just remember in one
What is
line,
that?
she said something like, I have been to so many rock concerts with so many incredible bands and incredible musicians. And every time, all I'm thinking is, where are we going to dinner afterwards and what will I order?
That makes me feel so good. Because we were at a museum yesterday, and that's all I was thinking about the entire time.
I felt
too.
seen.
I feel so seen.
Plug.
I was at this museum
that
going,
note,
what
I'm
are people
starving.
doing? What like
Nikki's
people at
stories.
museums love looking at art. I just don't buy it. I think they just want to be like, we went to the museum
Yes.
today. Like they just go to it so they can say they did it. They don't actually, like you see a couple things that you go, oh, that's cool. But 90% of stuff in museums is you're just like, ugh, who gives a shit? Like I just don't buy that it's that cool. But thank God for them, because art's important.
You posted your Instagram stories that were.
They were
Go
funny.
look at Nikki's Instagram stories
Well,
if they're still up from yesterday.
they-
Where she.
no, they
because
won't
this is
be.
a week later.
Oh no!
Well, I'll screenshot them and put them on
Oh,
ours
those were
in
great.
tandem
Yeah.
with this episode.
Those
My
are my
Go
favorite
check out the
one
Nikki
was
Glaser
the
pod.
boy. Was the boy.
The
little hole.
Yeah,
that
thank
was
you.
my favorite
All right, so
one.
go check that out on our Instagram. Check out the podcast on our YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Thank you so much for doing this podcast, Chris and Anya and Brian and Noah. And we will be back in the States for the next iteration of this podcast. Thank you for joining us overseas. And thank you to all the besties that have come out to the shows. It's been so much fun. And we will see you in the States. Don't be and just knock those 40 before you're 40 out.